All right, diving right into the deep dive today, we are going to take a close look at PayPal.
Yeah?
They had their Q4 2024 earnings call, and we're going to break down some of the key takeaways.
Absolutely. We've got the transcript right here from February 4th, and we're going to dig out all the important stuff for you. So if you're like getting ready for a big meeting about payments, or you just want to know what a giant like PayPal is doing, get ready for some serious aha moments.
So what jumped out at you from this call?
Well, one thing was super clear. PayPal thinks 2024 was a total win, a transition year. They called it the CEO, Alex Chriss. You really emphasized that.
Okay.
They narrowed their focus, got some key things done, and the numbers look great.
Like what?
Well, their transaction margin dollar growth is way up. That means they're making more profit from each transaction.
Yeah.
Always good for business.
Definitely. And they also talked about how their branded checkout experience in the US is growing even faster now.
Right.
And Venmo, that their social payment app,
Yeah.
is really starting to make some money, over 20% growth.
Yeah, they're doing well. But what's really cool to me is how PayPal is going beyond just like processing payments. They're becoming a full-on commerce platform.
What do you mean by that?
It's like they want to be involved in every part of buying and selling a whole ecosystem for commerce.
So how does a company that processed nearly $1.7 trillion in payments in 2024
I know, right?
keep that momentum going?
It's a huge number, like bigger than some countries' entire economies. It really shows how powerful PayPal is in the digital payments world.
Mm-hmm.
But to answer your question, they have a plan for 2025. 4 main areas they're focusing on. They call them strategic pillars.
Okay, I like it.
Innovation, product adoption, partnerships, and then efficiency and effectiveness.
Yeah.
Those are going to guide everything they do.
So they've got a good foundation and they're building on it. They mentioned something called winning checkout, one of their big plans for 2025. What's that all about?
Winning checkout. It's all about making the checkout experience awesome, as smooth and enjoyable as possible. Like fast, easy, no headaches. They want to have the absolute best checkout process out there.
I think we've all been there, stuck with a checkout process that just doesn't work. It's frustrating. So how are they actually making things better?
They've already made some big improvements.
Yeah.
For example, they've cut down latency by 40%.
Latency, break that down for us non-techies. What does that mean when I'm shopping online?
Sure. Basically, it means things load faster. The checkout process is super responsive. You don't have to wait around staring at a loading screen. You can just buy what you want and move on.
Yeah.
They've also seen a 100 basis point conversion lift.
Okay. And what does that mean?
It means more people are actually completing their purchases instead of giving up because the checkout is too annoying.
So fewer abandoned shopping carts full of stuff we wanted to buy. That's good for shoppers and for businesses.
Exactly. And get this, those checkout improvements are already live for more than 25% of U.S. traffic, and they're just getting started.
That's awesome. And speaking of making checkout smoother, they also launched this thing called Fastlane, right? A new guest checkout product.
Yep.
Tell me more.
Fastlane is all about convenience. Like sometimes you don't want to create a whole account just to buy one thing.
Right.
Fastlane lets you skip that step, just breeze through checkout.
I love it. So is it working?
It's already super popular. Big companies like NBC Universal, Roku, and StockX are using it, and almost 2,000 merchants in total.
Wow.
But here's the really interesting part. 75% of the people using Fastlane are either brand new to PayPal or they haven't used it in a while. So it's not just making things faster for existing users, it's bringing in new customers and getting those old accounts active again.
Very smart. So they're killing it online, but they're also doing stuff in the physical world with their omni-channel strategy.
Yeah.
Can you explain that a bit?
Well, if you think about it, the lines between online and offline shopping are getting blurry. You might browse on your phone, then go to a store, or vice versa. PayPal wants to be there wherever their customers are, whether it's online or in a brick and mortar store. That's what omnichannel is all about.
Their PayPal Everywhere debit card program seems like a big part of that. And they got a ton of new users in Q4, like 1.5 million first-time users.
Yeah, that's huge. And here's why it matters. People who use the debit card make way more transactions, like 5 times more than people who just use online checkout. So PayPal Everywhere is getting people to use PayPal more often, building stronger relationships.
More transactions, stronger relationships sounds good to me. Let's talk about another way they're building those relationships. Venmo. Everybody knows it's the app for splitting bills with friends, but PayPal is serious about making money from it. What's their plan?
They're doing 2 things. First, they're making the core peer-to-peer experience even better, smoother, easier to use. Then, they're pushing people to use the Venmo debit card and pay with Venmo. Those are the products that actually bring in revenue.
And how's it going?
The numbers are great. Venmo debit card monthly active users grew over 30%, and Pay with Venmo monthly actives jumped over 20%. It's working.
So they're basically turning Venmo Me into Spend with Venmo. Pretty clever. But it's not all about consumers, right? What about small businesses? How is PayPal supporting them?
Small and medium businesses are super important, and PayPal wants to be their one-stop shop for everything.
I like that. Tell me more.
They have this thing called PayPal Complete Payments. It's a whole suite of tools to help SMBs with everything, taking payments, managing inventory, even getting loans.
Wow, so they're more than just a pay now button now.
Exactly. They want to be a real partner, help these businesses grow and succeed.
And are small businesses liking it?
It's a big hit. PayPal Complete Payments already handles 45% of SMB processing and checkout volume. That's a lot.
Very impressive. What are some specific examples of how they're helping these small businesses?
Well, they have financing solutions like PayPal Working Capital for brand new businesses and PayPal Business Loans for companies that are more established. They're trying to support businesses at every stage.
That's fantastic. So consumers, businesses, they're doing a lot. What else stood out to you from this earnings call?
One thing that caught my eye was their focus on partnerships. They're teaming up with other big players to reach more people and offer even more value to everyone, consumers and businesses.
Give me some examples.
Well, they talked about deals to bring Fastlane to more merchants through partnerships with Adyen, Global Payments, and Fiserv. Those are big names in payment processing.
Yeah.
And it's not just about size. It's about creating a system where everybody wins.
I get it, connecting the dots, making things seamless for everybody. So partnerships are a big focus. What else?
They also mentioned that they're renegotiating some of their deals with the really big merchants to make sure they're getting paid fairly for the value they bring.
That makes sense. PayPal isn't just a button anymore. They're a whole platform. And they need to make sure those big companies recognize that.
Right. And they talked about how successful their value-added services have been, things like FX as a service, which is like automatic currency conversion, and things like network tokens for recurring payments. These are services that go beyond just taking payments. They help businesses run smoother and make their lives easier.
It's like they're becoming a one-stop shop for all kinds of businesses, not just about getting paid, but about helping those businesses do well. So we've covered a lot of ground here, a lot for our listeners to think about.
Yeah, definitely.
What's the main takeaway from all of this? What does it mean for us, the everyday people and businesses out there?
That's the big question, right? I think the main takeaway is that PayPal is becoming way more than just a way to pay online. They're becoming a key part of the whole commerce experience.
Can you give us some real-world examples of how this might change our lives?
Sure. Think about shopping online. PayPal is making checkout so much better, faster, smoother, and more secure. Imagine a world where you never have to deal with slow websites or clunky checkout processes again.
That sounds amazing. No more abandoned carts because the website is taking forever.
Exactly. And with their omni-channel strategy, you'll see PayPal accepted in more places, both online and in physical stores. Think about using your Venmo balance to buy groceries or coffee. That's the kind of integration they're going for.
That Venmo debit card is sounding better and better, especially with all those new users. But it's not just about convenience for consumers, right? What about businesses, especially small businesses?
Right, as PayPal gives small businesses the tools to compete with bigger companies, we're going to see more innovation and competition. That's good for everyone. It can mean lower prices, more choices, and a stronger economy overall.
Sounds like a win-win-win situation. More options for consumers, more opportunities for businesses, and a better economy. I like it a lot. But it's not all perfect, right? There must be some challenges and potential problems.
Of course. With any big changes in technology, there are going to be bumps in the road. Data security and privacy are going to be more important than ever. We're trusting these platforms with more and more of our financial information, so they need to keep it safe.
That's a good point. And what about these platforms becoming too powerful? Could we end up with just a few companies controlling everything?
It's definitely something to think about.
Right.
We need to make sure there are rules and regulations to keep things fair and prevent monopolies.
So it's not just about making cool new technology, it's also about using it responsibly and making sure it benefits everyone.
Exactly. We need to enjoy the convenience and efficiency of these new technologies, but we also need to be careful and make sure they're used for good.
Well said. It feels like we're entering a whole new world of commerce. Online and offline are blending together, and digital platforms are becoming more and more important. It's exciting, but also a little scary.
I agree. And PayPal is definitely leading the way. What they're doing is going to change the whole industry, not just their own company. It's going to be interesting to see how it all plays out.
It definitely will be. We'll be keeping a close eye on it. But for now, let's take a little break to process all of this information.
Sounds good.
We'll be right back for the last part of our deep dive, where we'll talk about what all of this means for the future of commerce.
Can't wait.
Welcome back to our deep dive. Before the break, we were talking about how PayPal wants to be more than just a payment button, a whole platform, a partner for businesses big and small.
Yeah, exactly. And to do that, they're really focusing on some big trends that are changing how commerce works.
Like, well, give us the insider info.
One thing they're super excited about is buy now, pay later, BNPL.
Ah, BNPL, the thing that lets you pay for stuff over time. It's definitely popular.
Oh yeah, PayPal processed something like $33 billion in BNPL volume just in 2024. That's a 21% increase from the year before. It's clearly not going away anytime soon, and PayPal's in a great position to take advantage of it.
They even said that people who use BNPL tend to spend about 30% more on average.
Right, that's a big deal for businesses.
It really shows how BNPL can be good for everyone. Consumers get more flexibility and businesses get more sales.
Absolutely. So yeah, BNPL is one trend they're riding.
Yeah.
What else are they looking at?
I'm all ears.
Another big focus is their unbranded business,
Mhm.
especially Braintree.
Remind me, what's Braintree again?
Braintree is like the behind-the-scenes engine for payments. It powers a lot of popular apps and platforms. Remember how we talked about PayPal wanting profitable growth, not just chasing bigger numbers?
Uh-huh.
Well, it seems like that strategy is working with Braintree.
They said Braintree has been a big part of their transaction margin dollar growth in the last 3 quarters, so less volume, but more profit.
That's it. They're being more careful about who they work with and what deals they make. Plus, they're using those value-added services we talked about, like fraud protection and currency conversion, to make more money from each customer.
Makes sense. Sounds like a smart way to do business. But they did say that those renegotiations with the bigger Braintree merchants could slow down revenue growth a bit in 2025.
Yeah, they did mention that,
Right.
but it sounds like they're okay with that. They're willing to take a small hit now to build stronger, more profitable relationships later on. It shows they're thinking long-term.
So we talked about their wins, their strategies, their focus on trends like BNPL. What's the big takeaway here? What does it all mean for everyday people and businesses?
That's the key question, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think the main takeaway is that PayPal isn't just about paying online anymore. They're becoming a much bigger part of the whole commerce experience.
Can you give us some concrete examples? How will this affect our lives?
Sure, think about when you're shopping online. PayPal is working hard to make checkout faster, easier, and safer. Imagine a future where you never have to deal with slow websites or confusing checkout pages.
I'd love that. No more giving up on my shopping cart because the website is taking forever.
Exactly. And with their omni-channel strategy, PayPal will be accepted in even more places online and in physical stores. Maybe you'll use your Venmo balance to buy groceries or grab a coffee. That's what they're aiming for.
That Venmo debit card is starting to sound pretty good, especially with how much it's growing. But it's not just about convenience for us shoppers, right? What about businesses, the small ones especially?
As PayPal helps small businesses compete with the big guys, we'll probably see a lot more innovation and competition. That's good for everyone. It could mean lower prices, more choices, and a stronger economy for all of us.
I like the sound of that. More choices for shoppers, more chances for businesses to succeed, and a better economy overall. Sounds like everyone wins. But it can't all be sunshine and rainbows, right? Are there any challenges or potential downsides?
Of course. Whenever there are big changes in technology, there are going to be some challenges. Things like data security and privacy are becoming even more important. We're trusting these companies with our financial information, so they need to keep it safe.
That's a really important point. And what about the possibility of these platforms becoming too powerful? Could we end up with just a few companies controlling everything?
It's definitely something to think about. We need to make sure there are rules in place to prevent monopolies and make sure everyone has a fair chance.
So it's not just about building cool new tech. It's about using it responsibly and ethically, making sure it benefits everyone.
Exactly. We want to enjoy the convenience and efficiency, but we also need to be mindful of the bigger picture, make sure these technologies are used for good.
Well said. It feels like we're moving into a whole new era of commerce. The lines between online and offline are getting blurry, and digital platforms are playing a bigger and bigger role. It's exciting, but also a little uncertain.
Yeah, I agree. And PayPal is right at the front of this change. What they're doing is going to have a huge impact on the whole industry, not just their own company. It'll be interesting to see how it all unfolds.
It definitely will. We'll be watching closely. But for now, let's take a moment to digest all this information.
Sounds good.
We'll be back in a jiffy for the final part of our deep dive. We'll explore what all this means for the future of commerce. Stay tuned. All right, we're back and ready to wrap up our deep dive into PayPal's big plans for the future. We've talked about their checkout upgrades, BNPL, their omnichannel strategies.
Yeah, we've covered a lot of ground. But now let's step back and look at the big picture. What does all this mean for the future of commerce, and what does it mean for you?
That's the question we all want answered. How are these changes going to affect us as shoppers and as businesses?
Let's start with online shopping. As PayPal keeps making checkout better, you can expect a future where buying stuff online is super easy and smooth. No more waiting forever for pages to load or dealing with confusing forms.
That sounds like a dream come true. No more abandoned carts because I got frustrated with the checkout process.
Exactly. And with their omnichannel strategy, the lines between shopping online and in person are going to keep getting blurrier. We'll see PayPal being used everywhere, from grocery stores to coffee shops.
It seems like they want to be the way we pay for everything.
That's the goal, and they're making good progress. But it's not just about consumers. Businesses are going to be affected too, especially small and medium-sized businesses.
How so?
Well, as PayPal gives these businesses the tools to compete with the big guys, we're probably going to see a lot more innovation and competition. That means better products, better prices, and a stronger economy for everyone.
That's great news. A rising tide lifts all boats, right?
Exactly. But it's not all going to be easy. There are going to be some challenges along the way. Well, as we rely more and more on these digital platforms, data security and privacy are going to be even more important. We're trusting them with our financial information, so they need to keep it safe.
That's a big concern. And what about these companies getting too much power? Could we end up with just a few companies controlling the whole commerce landscape?
It's a valid concern. We need to think about regulations and antitrust laws to make sure there's fair competition.
So it's not just about the technology, it's about making sure it's used ethically and responsibly.
Absolutely. We want to enjoy the convenience, but we also need to be aware of the potential downsides and work to mitigate them.
Well said. It feels like we're on the cusp of a whole new era of commerce, where the lines between online and offline are disappearing, and digital platforms are calling the shots. It's exciting, but also a little bit scary.
I agree. And PayPal's right there leading the charge. What they're doing now is going to affect the whole industry, not just their own business. It's going to be interesting to watch it all unfold.
It definitely will. We'll be watching closely. But for now, we've reached the end of our deep dive into PayPal.
Thanks for coming along on this journey with us.
We hope you found it informative and thought-provoking. Remember, the future is what we make it, so stay curious, stay informed, and keep exploring the ever-changing world of commerce.
See you next time.
Thanks for listening.